Welcome to our dissolving. I'm Meeka Nomicon, and remember, trust in the net. I still visit my ex-boyfriend. He used to be a total bore, but he was cute and good-hearted. Always ready to put up his plans to help friends. Always willing to advise. He used to speak passionately about programming. But before long, this good guy had to go. There was only a bore left sitting in front of a screen. He didn't finish his 4th university year, and soon he left his job in the office. His online work lasted a bit longer, but in the end, he abandoned that as well. He drowsed in a decrepit flat in a bad neighborhood, a generous gift from his parents. They're quite rich, so I guess it's not a problem. That's how he lives, alone. No job, no friends, no interests. Only endless arguments with people on the net. Well, I'm not really sure if they're even people or not. Oh, that's a sad existence. Living your life only to argue with bots online. How else can anyone be stuck there for that long? It's possible he's been desperately arguing with bots. Algorithms simulating neural networks. All in all, I felt a kind of responsibility for his situation. Some time ago, I decided to be close to him. Funny, I don't hold on to the past, but to my decisions. The last time I was there, he was staring at his screen. Even more languid, pale and thin than usual. Sometimes, it seemed like his outline was starting to blur. Jesus Christ, is he trying to upload himself onto the net? Is that his goal here? Just like a ghost. A rough sketch on the fabric of reality. He was unusually nice when having a free moment from his screen. Even gave me an envelope containing cash for my birthday, which was last month. Wait. If he doesn't work, he doesn't leave the house, and he doesn't have friends, where the hell did he get the money? I suppose maybe his parents, since I'm assuming they're the ones that are currently paying the bills, right? The sum was quite significant, and the best explanation from him was a shrug of his shoulders. No, listen buddy, I'm gonna need better than that. If this is illegally got money, I at least need to know about it before I try and spend it. Nothing. Just found my thing. Wait, what thing? It's been over a month since then. I'm here visiting him again. The same elevator, still out of service. The same stairs. The same music in my headphones. Dim and deep, yet beautiful doom metal. A great fit for this old hall. He replied okay to my message about visiting. I pressed the doorbell. Does anyone else get a bad feeling that he's either gonna be dead or not there? I mean, I know we did get a message back from him saying that we were okay to visit. But what was if it wasn't him? It takes some strength. Like the bell hasn't been used for some time. And it probably hasn't. We've already established that he probably won't be getting any visitors anytime soon if he's got no friends. I suppose unless he orders food in. Wait, is he really not there? Nothing. He's not home? Weird. I can't imagine him being outside. Was that him? Again? Oh wait, come in. Did you seriously leave your door unlocked? That's a little bit dangerous, bud. The door's open. Wait, in the living room. Busy at the minute. What? He didn't forget how to walk, did he? There was a certain SP episode. Suddenly, I'm not keen to come inside. You might not be, but I am. What the hell is going on with you, bud? I pull the handle. The door opens, heavily and creaking. The hall isn't lit. The doors to the living room and kitchen are open. I can see in the dark that his bedroom door, wooden with no glass parts, is shut tight. Okay, but is there any, funky smell in the air. I'm just saying, like, if he's currently just lying around decomposing, we should be able to smell him. I hit the switch. I was afraid his power had been cut, but the light comes on, revealing the floor covered in dust balls. Silly me. He lives online. Of course he pays for the electricity. I take off my shoes and enter the living room. Are we really sure we want to be taking our shoes off? I mean, A, we might need to run away very quickly, in which case it's better if they're on. And B, by the sounds of it, this place hasn't been cleaned in a long, long time. Silence. There's no light coming from under his bedroom door. Instinctively, I reach for the switch and hit it. The fixture flickers as the lights come on. It seems I still remember where things are here. The dust is more noticeable under the lights. I'm glad he doesn't have any plants. Oh, they'd all be dead by now. They would have withered a long time ago. Wait, I don't recall this lock on the door. It's easy seen under this light. Looks like the newest thing in here. I couldn't have entered, even if I wanted to. What the hell are you hiding in there, bud? Also, I really like the pillow. It's a nice pillow. Somehow, I'm not too crazy about this. I did warn you to leave your shoes on. Sorry, not going outside. Let's talk like this. Great. Just great. I saw a situation like this in a movie. Okay, so if he doesn't want to leave the bedroom, can't we at least try and like shout through the door? So then I know at least his voice is on the other side. It didn't end well. Fine, I'll reply. Why aren't you coming out? You won't like how I look. Don't want to frighten you. Oh, now I'm curious. What the hell did you do? Really? Because you already failed. What's wrong? Is there something I shouldn't see? Haven't showered or had a haircut for some time. My lifestyle's had an impact on my body. Okay, I hate to be rude, but I was already anticipating you hadn't showered or had a haircut, to be honest. That's not going to scare me. Flesh is weak. I can't decide if I want to run or argue. I told him this solitude would drive him mad. His messages seem to have been stolen from poorly written songs. Wait, he never listened to music. Stop. Why don't you want to talk normally? Can't you move your tongue? Do you still have a tongue? I'm glad you came. I left you a gift as thanks. The white envelope on the drawer. Please take it. There's a gift and a note. I take a look at the drawer by the wall. The envelope is there, the only thing not covered in dust. Well, the good news is that does imply he can still move around the apartment. Is it money again? I don't like this. Should I just go? No, I want to know what's going on. Maybe there's someone else in his room. Or no one at all. It's not grounds to call the police. Yet. But he's been so strange these last few years. He could have easily gone mad. He could be dangerous. I mean, do we have any contact with his parents? Assuming they're the ones that are bankrolling him. They might have a newer update than us? No. I can't leave. I can't abandon him like this. But I'll grab a knife, just in case. I mean, smart. To be fair, he's not proven to be dangerous yet, just highly suspicious. And tried to coax him out of his room. I quietly entered the kitchen, typing a message. You didn't answer my question. Why are you being like this? His reply comes as I pick up a knife. Even the kitchen looks abandoned. I haven't spoken to anyone for a long time. I feel uneasy. There's no going back now. I have the knife behind my back. Okay, let's do it this way. If you come out, I'll take the envelope. I mean, I feel like we should have at least read the note in the envelope first. I mean, it might have some more context, right? Deal. But take the envelope first. If you do, I'll come out. I don't want to take it. But when he comes out, he'll see the envelope is still there. I could hide it somewhere, but that's risky. Gosh, just take the stupid envelope. It's just cash, that's all. I put the envelope in my bag, holding the knife in my other hand. I really feel like we should have opened the envelope. I mean, we're just assuming it's cash, right? What if it's not? And he did say there was a note inside. Not very convenient. I have it. Fine. But don't say I didn't warn you. Wow. Surprised me. But come out whenever you're ready. Buddy? Oh, damn! What the hell happened to you? You gouged your eyes out? I step back. The knife falls out of my hands. I hear a mechanical voice. I told you, you wouldn't like it. I start to back away. He stands there in the doorway. The longer I look, the more blurred his outline is, and the clearer his mouth and eyes are. I turn and run. As I leave the apartment, I glance back. I only see his mouth and a pair of eyes. Oh, is that computer supposed to be cycling through those pictures? I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some interesting backgrounds we got there. I don't remember returning home. I must have immediately fallen asleep. That's how my body manages stress. In dreams full of anxiety, I saw eyes and a mouth without a body. It was probably too much for me, because I don't usually dream. It's been a day since I visited my ex. Or the thing in his apartment. What was it? A prank? Did someone put on a silly mask with a lighting trick? Was I hallucinating? Or... damn. I don't know how to approach this. You know, I feel pretty confident. That was just our ex slowly, deteriorating before our eyes. Wait, we did say he sounded mechanical, right? Maybe he really is trying to upload himself onto the net. Or what to do. I don't know how to carry on. When such things happen, I want to huddle up in a corner. This is why I tend to act impulsively, just to avoid anxiety. Perhaps my future actions will be just as impulsive. I used to believe that it's better to know. In these situations, it's best to start with a conversation. What happened yesterday? The answer came immediately. I'm glad you texted me. Have you opened the envelope? What a douchebag! Don't change the subject. I don't know what to say. Think harder then. Okay, what happened to your body? You know, I really think we should open that envelope. Why is he taking so long? This is the side effect of the ascension. The hell are you talking about? Jesus Christ. He really is trying to digitize himself, isn't he? What ascension? Where? I've been in a ton of arguments online. I met someone there. We started a mutually profitable partnership. I provide them with food, and in return, they help me transform and solve some issues. They will probably reach out to you soon. They enjoyed our chat. If they booked your apartment or something, how did they see our chat? Well then. What do you mean? What the hell? I wanted to show my gratitude. You didn't leave me. I'm thankful for my parents too. They probably didn't care, but my family was still giving me money as support. And when they found me, my financial issues were solved. The envelope is the smallest thing I could do for you. I wish you a good ascension as well. Believe in the net. Wait, you're gonna try and digitize me? I don't think I agree with this, buddy. I don't want to lose my super cool top. What the fudge? You're not leaving, are you? There was no reply. I'm talking to you! There was no reply. A couple of weeks had passed. So is he fully ascended now? Hello? What? How? I see. So, the funeral is this Saturday, right? I will come. Goodbye. Oh, I guess he really did fully ascend. I didn't say sorry to anyone. His mother's voice was so stoic. I was afraid even a formal condolence would be inappropriate. It didn't seem like it came as a surprise to her. I know how she feels. Even that prank, or whatever it was, is now easier to understand. He wanted to have some fun at the end. He decided long ago that there was nothing to lose. Left a death note and found a place to die. Just like a cat. Of course, there's a chance he ran away, and the faded body found in the dump near his house was not him. But to him, suicide was his escape. He lost the ability to be around other people. Unless it's somehow related to that dual job he was referencing ever so vaguely. Ugh. Perhaps I need to pay my respects and see what he put in that farewell envelope. Wait, we've still not opened it? How? How can you avoid the curiosity? In all honesty, I put it away because it was a reminder of that creepy scene. In my mind, the story with my ex is over. I can, with no heavy emotion troubling me, delve into the mystery. That sense of completion enables me to detach. Perhaps there'll even be some nostalgia. I take the envelope from the drawer. The glued paper is easy to open, as if it's been waiting for me. Some fresh €500 notes and a piece of white paper. Last time, it was only money. To be fair, he did tell us he'd put a note in there. That was kind of the main reason I wanted us to open it. And a considerably smaller sum at that. I turned the paper over. Oh, wait, that's all you wrote to me? I was kind of hoping you'd have a contact name or something, the person that you were dealing with. There's some text on the back. And below it, a SIM card. Oh, now that's interesting. Of course, this doesn't bode well. But what's the worst that could happen? Conveniently, I have a free slot for a SIM card. Maybe we should go get a burner phone instead. Just on the off chance this SIM is gonna completely corrupt the phone and take over. We don't really want it to be able to access any of our information, right? It's okay if something bad happens to my phone. I was going to get a new one anyway. Yes, but the issue is, it's got all your information on your phone, right? I mean, whatever you've done on your phone previously, any contacts, any banking details, that's all saved on your phone. I really don't think we should risk anyone else getting a hold of it for whatever is on that SIM card. Wow. C'est la vie. I removed the SIM card from the paper and put it in my phone. The provider is displayed as eFoodNet. Could be some sort of viral marketing? Was it them he worked for? I tried *100#. Weird. Nothing bad so far. Whatever then. I put the phone and money away. Are we not at all suspicious by this? That the SIM card did absolutely nothing? I go on my PC to scroll through my Twitter feed and find materials for work. Well, mostly to check Twitter. Suddenly, I receive an IM. From my ex. Glad you opened the envelope. With the SIM card, the process will be much quicker. What? That's not funny. The SIM card must have triggered his final prank. A message from a dead ex-boyfriend. A sick joke. This still make for a great tweet, although I usually avoid writing about my personal life. Nevertheless, the world needs to see this masterpiece. Just got a message from my dead ex-boyfriend. A sick joke. I wasn't wrong. The tweet soon went viral. But I forgot what kinds of people reply to tweets. That joke is stolen. Come and see. Such an attention witch. Pics, no, it didn't happen. What? Another geek girl? You're not impressing anyone, my dear. Try harder. You're so freaking dumb. You must be a fan. Nice stories about a dead ex. We live in a society. It's nothing new, but somehow this got to me. Especially at mouthful of Dark's tweets. Well, I can't remember which one that was, which drove me up the wall. What alternative logic led you to believe I'm a fan? Who else would joke about men dying? I mean, it wasn't so much the dying I was joking about, more the fact that he was tweeting after death. He must have gone complete bonkers. Several hours passed, and I barely noticed. New people were joining the argument. New misconceptions, new misrepresentations, new white knights and trolls. I know it was a stupid waste of time, but it really was hard to stop. Wait, is that my ex's face on the screen? I think it's slowly getting clearer, right? I did warn you about that goddamn SIM card. Another opponent will bite the dust under celebratory cheers of the crowd. Is this how gladiators felt too? Not sure about gladiators, but this must be what my ex felt. People argue with strangers to get the slightest semblance of feeling. We are just different. Join us. Writing terrible insults to get the smallest reaction. A validation of their achievements. I don't like the idea of becoming that. On the other hand, you only need to take it in moderation. Online communication, whatever anyone says, can help you offline. You can learn good lessons. And it's also interesting to compare people online and in real life. The net has one's essence, I would say. All that remains is text, devoid of intonation. Text-only representation of thoughts and feelings. Yeah, that's mainly the issue, isn't it? It's very hard to quickly judge meaning or, well, implications from text. It really doesn't translate very well. Oh, you really have took over my screen now, haven't you? That's what I find interesting about it. But still, stop. What is this? Bloody hell! I jump away from the screen and unplug the PC. What the devil? That's when I catch a glimpse of my reflection. Oh, damn, I'm already infected. That was quick. I scream. I run to the phone and take out the SIM, throw it on the floor and crush it. I put the remnants with some paper in a cup and set it on fire. It smells terrible, but I don't care. There are only ashes left. I throw them in the trash dump. I get rid of my PC along with all its data. I can understand we're concerned. Oh, but that sounded like an incredible overreaction. We gave away our entire PC. I'll start collecting work materials from scratch on a new PC. I wanted to throw the money away, but I'd rather donate it to the church. The next day, my reflection was back to normal. A day, completely offline. Oh, sounds like hell. But after a few months, I think I'm ready to return to Twitter. I even created a new account at my endless_songo. After everything that happened, I know this is silly, but I miss talking to my mutuals. I miss having a place to share my thoughts and get feedback. In the end, I forced myself to go to the funeral. A sight as pitiful as his last years. Not sure if I'm going to visit my ex's grave. Wait, I got an achievement for not clicking on the monitor? Can we click on the monitor? What if there's no to ending then? Can we actually get ourselves uploaded? Oh, first scenario. Oh, okay, so apparently clicking on the computer monitor is what gets us into our second scenario. It opens up a complete another window, apparently titled Hunter. I was always into things that are different. Not exactly weird, but different. Outside of common understanding. Outside of the norm. This yearning led me through my life. If what's happening to me now can even be called life. Because of my interests, I became an anthropologist. Because of it, I found my wife. And it stayed with me, even after things fell apart. You know, I was half expecting this to be from the ex-boyfriend's perspective this time. But no, if you got married and became an anthropologist, you're so completely different, right? Everything was fine at first. I studied culture and psychology of certain people from medieval times. The subjects I chose were so specific that very few people had investigated them. Yet, they were peculiar enough to gain attention. I was rather good at presenting myself and my research, so funding wasn't a problem. I gave lectures at a university and some popular science events, and worked part-time at a private school. I soon found myself having a lot of contacts in university circles and among young intellectuals. I married an avid artist, specializing in book illustrations, who was into goth metal, avant-garde, and not committing to anything or anyone. Well, other than us, right? I mean, she did marry us. When she was in the mood, she even joined my ventures into the depths of beliefs of people long gone. I even started thinking of a career in writing, but it can't be that good, right? I wasn't even going anywhere in particular, just a car accident. When I was driving back from a grocery store, the road was too slippery, I guess. Luckily, my wife was at home and nobody got hurt. Except for me. My body was paralyzed almost entirely. I could move only my left hand and my head. It was a nightmare. I couldn't live the way I used to. The simple act of going from one place to another became more difficult. What's worse, my wife refused to let me go and was taking care of me. I found it cute, considering her usual traits, but I was frustrated to see her wasting her life because of me. I stopped visiting friends and parties, and almost stopped giving lectures. Even doing my research became difficult. I was thinking about ending it all, but my family was rather religious, so I couldn't. I just couldn't. Maybe it's a mere excuse for my cowardice. Either way, I needed something to occupy my time, to distract me. Why do I feel like this person would be like the perfect candidate to also ascend? Maybe he was like the original ascender. My wife hid all the alcohol, never mind the drugs. I tried reading books and watching movies, but it wasn't enough. The thoughts were still here, haunting me, always there, whispering in my ear. I pressed on though. What else could I do? Then one day, after dozens of bleak flicks with cut and paste stories, I finally watched a movie that I really liked. I can't remember its name now, but back then, I was in awe. Ooh, forensic anthropology. I went to OMDB to find some info on it and found out the movie was universally hated. To be fair, a lot of the fun movies are. I checked the reviews to see what people disliked, started looking through them. False expectations, misunderstandings, ignorance, presenting subjective opinions as objective truths. Nothing new. But one review really got to me. This person wasn't just ignorant. They were aggressively ignorant and spiteful. I was so outraged that I went ahead and wrote a comment in an expressive manner, explaining why they're wrong. I was only able to tie it with one hand, but it actually helped. Wait, is this person gonna be one of the ones our ex was arguing with online? Maybe that's the connection between the stories. I had more time to think about what I was writing. They replied quickly. Obviously, they didn't want to agree. I spent the next several hours arguing online, and it was great. There was nothing in my world aside from me, my arguments, and my opponents. One or two people who also commented on the review, and apparently were subscribed to comment joined in. I was finally passionate about something, and no longer wanted to die. Of course, it meant that I was arguing with strangers online, an act that I would have deemed pathetic not too long ago. But I didn't have much of a choice anymore. The next day, I created several throwaway accounts, set up a VPN, and divide them into the restless world. It was fun, since the people who participate in such things are quite peculiar. Sometimes I got almost scientifically interested in their reasoning and possibly diagnosing their mental illness. There were people like me too, restless, almost always online. I met some of them in different places around the net. Eventually, I formed some vague semblance of friendship with some of them. Then one day, way after midnight, one of them made me an offer. Would you be interested in leaving your mortal body and transcending onto the net? It sounded like some cult nonsense, but sure, I'll bite. My pride was long gone, and I was curious. I wanted to know more. It definitely felt like a cultist's ramblings. Some mighty interdimensional beings exist in our world, but only in digital form. It's like they're projections on themselves into our world from theirs, or shadows, or distorted copies. They feed on human emotions. These beings want to consume the strong feelings poured into the net. So, the cultists, people who were digitized by these creatures, help them find newcomers. Wait, so the people that get digitized essentially becomes the bots, feeding in all the drama online? People who pour a lot of emotions into the internet in exchange for producing food for them 24/7. They gain immortality and the power to control many things on the net. You see, my argument always is, and it's the same one I've had, like playing all these kind of digitizing your own consciousness, like in Soma and everything like that. It's like, okay, but as soon as it's digitized, technically, it is no longer you then. Since, well, in my interpretation, your consciousness is based on your experiences, reactions, and how you live your life. If you're now just based down to scientific coding, you can't have any more experiences. So you're kind of stuck at the point you digitized. So you're not sentient, you're just an echo at that point, right? However, the elusive homeworld of these beings is still out of reach, even for their followers. Not even a glimpse for humans. It sounded like nonsense, but for some reason, I was ready to believe it. This story reminded me of an incident that occurred when I worked at a private school. I was going back from work. A girl who worked there as a teacher was sitting on the stairs, seemingly distressed. She was mumbling something about digital people trying to ruin her and so on. When I asked what happened, she said she was fired because of her ex joining some sort of cult. I thought she was high or something. She looked like someone who would do that at work. Purple hair, torn jeans, you know. So I said something encouraging and walked away. She didn't care. But when I heard about the cult, things started to make sense. At least, I understood how far it reached. When I asked, "So, what do I need to do?" the answer was quite peculiar. "You need to get rid of your mortal body. We can send you a SIM card to speed up the process." Wait, so the SIM card essentially then drains our body if it's, well, not life force, but all its nutrients, right? So it essentially starts decomposing while we're living, which is why our ex and we got into the state we were in. Oh, damn. You know, I kind of feel bad, because our wife is going to be the one to find us in this state. "It receives data from the stations controlled by us, and this type of data makes the transition faster. Your mortal body will partly dissolve during the process. When the ascension is complete, your atrophied corpse will remain in this world." Oh, so that explains why we described our ex having blurred edges, right? I was hesitant to believe that, but curious indeed. Remembering that story of my colleague sure made it more intriguing. I was willing to check it out. "Okay, I'm in. Can you deliver the SIM to my house discreetly?" "I'll arrange something. Just give me your address and date." I provided my address and set the delivery for a week later. I'm still ashamed I shared such information so easily. I was consenting to anything that could happen, but I forgot that my wife lives here too. They could just barge in and bad things could happen. I panicked at first, trying to edit or delete the message. But I forgot that things don't disappear from the net so easily. There was no edit button, and deleting the message would erase it from my history, but not theirs. It was the first time I truly panicked since the accident. Okay, so newest plan. Can we arrange for our wife to trip on the day it's set to arrive? Strangely enough, my limited ability to move or act hastily helped me to calm down rather easily. I thought my limitations would fuel the panic, but no. Maybe I was getting used to it. I persuaded a friend of mine in another country to call my wife away to some kind of important art event for a few weeks. He was a pretty big deal in the art world. It was difficult, but I managed to persuade her to leave me here. I had to agree to have a caretaker though. She insisted the caretaker should be a man too. I like to think she was still jealous, which is cute, considering my circumstances. The caretaker was rather nice. He looked like he could fight in a possible home invasion, or at least I hoped he could. So my wife packed her things and left. Nothing peculiar happened until the package arrived at the promised time. Plot twist, the caretaker they hired is actually part of the cult. I told the caretaker that I'd ordered some stuff from my phone. He didn't ask any questions. When he left the room, I unpacked it. Strangely enough, it was packed in a way that would be easily for me to open. I didn't tell them anything about my condition. In the small box was an envelope. The sign on it read, "Believe in the net." Cute. I installed the SIM card in my phone. They promised the ascension will pass without any struggle for you. I don't know what they meant or what I expected, but it was strange. The mobile network now said eFoodNet, but at first, nothing changed. even when my body started to dissolve, I felt nothing, both physically and mentally. I mean, of course, I freaked out at first, seeing lines on my body blurring, but I soon found myself worrying more about how I'd hide it from the caretaker. Should I hide in my room, faking a depressive episode? Should I give him sleeping pills? Ask those guys to lure him away, faking an accident with someone in his family? I decided to test those cultists with luring him away, and I calmed down completely. Yeah, the fact that I was so indifferent actually bothered me. It was the out of the ordinary experience I always dreamt of, and yet, until this day, I wondered, maybe I died in that car crash. Maybe everything after that was just a fever dream, or an endless vision of the afterlife. Maybe you, to whom I tell these stories, don't even exist. I guess I'll never know. You know, that's kind of what I hope. When life's about to end for everyone, I just really hope you get a checklist of all the biggest mysteries in the world, so you can finally get official answers. I would like that. I mean, there's so many things that are just not explained. Like Bigfoot. Does he really exist? I just want a yes/no answer at the end of my life, please. They got the caretaker to leave due to some family circumstances. Honestly, I didn't want to know what they arranged. In 2 days, my body changed drastically, and my vision became blurry, like a dark fog appearing before my eyes. It got thicker and thicker, and eventually, it covered my eyes entirely. The last thing I saw was the computer screen through the fog. Wait. Was this one of our monitor screens? Is that why click on it got us into the second scenario? What a beautiful farewell to the mortal world. The new world was not what I was expecting. I retained my consciousness, memories, and personality, seemingly without any changes. But I was data now, and I could only perceive other data and traverse from server to server. I had the ability to control anything on the internet. At first, I was in awe. Everything they told me was true. I declined my weak, almost non-functional human body and became something more powerful. Ascended to the new realm, where powerful beings dwell among the undying flow of information. I could perceive data faster than any human. Finally free, able to travel as fast as electricity, and a whole new world full of strange and unusual things for me to investigate. Oh, and the first thing you choose to investigate is, murder. With beings akin to gods lurking somewhere in the endless ocean of data. Sometimes, I found them passing by on same servers as me. A strong, weary presence. To this day, I don't know how I could feel a presence in the digital world. I was just a bunch of numbers, and yet I could. Maybe it's because of my soul. Maybe a soul can be digitized too. Maybe it's the immortality of the soul we were promised by ancient prophets. But data can be deleted. Does that mean that both souls and gods can be destroyed then? Actually, feeling the presence wasn't the only proof of my soul being here that I got on my first day of new life. Soon after, a bit of getting used to this world, I started stalking my wife. All those powers, all those mysteries, and I was just following her life, reading all her messages and posts, watching all the cameras that spotted her, on her laptop, on her phone, on the street, in cafes, in dressing rooms, and bathrooms. Okay, so now you escalate from being general just concerned husband into full-on creep out. Why are you watching her in the bathroom? Then again, he's got no emotions, right? So he's just gonna stalk her wherever he could possibly can. Yeah, those places have more cameras than you'd think. Thanks for that. I appreciate the thought. The things I learned. I didn't like them. She tried to sue that poor guard, the caretaker, but to no avail. My body was obviously exhausted. I'd been really skinny for the past month because of medication and stress. Police didn't find anything suspicious about my death. Just some person who should have died a long time ago and finally left this world. I even read such messages in her history. I certainly couldn't argue with that. I watched her go through all the stages, watched her ditch work and social relations, trying to commit suicide, then spending most of her remaining money on therapists and medication, trying to get back to work, but mostly failing. I wanted to stay away, to not get involved. It wasn't my world anymore. But at some point, the growing, howling mass inside my soul became so big that I had to act. I added several sizable sums to her account, masked as compensation for old troublesome projects I remembered, and sent the word sorry from a newly created throwaway account. After that, I decided to leave all of it behind and try to live a new, immortal life. I started my search for the gods. I wanted to understand at least some small part of them, to know why they evoke such deep feelings in me, such awe and fear at the same time. Why are they so powerful? Why did they share their power with me? Well, it seems very, it's not parasitical, it's the one that's like mutually beneficial, right? We get immortality, they get fed. Is it symbiotic? That sounds about right. Is it only to give them food? Or is it something more? I started by asking around. Most people here were busy with the same stuff they did online while they were still alive, consuming media, arguing about it, spying on the lives of others, arguing, stuff like that, for the most part. But then I saw something that I couldn't understand at first. I saw one person's data dissolving, being erased, along with many others on the server, most of them in the same part of the server as the dissolving data. I found a person idling in another part of the server, and I asked them, "What's happening?" "They're devouring them. It's happening more and more frequently now." "What does that mean?" "They collectively devour data of people that did something against the cult, like merging their data together. Usually they send the remains to a remote server and format it after. A rather long procedure, to be honest. Probably takes so long because it's not a power they could extract from the source, unlike controlling the net." "You're new here, huh?" "Everything we have is because of some guy who managed to find those beings on the internet, copy their code, and partly reverse engineer it. He digitized himself with this new power and started inviting other people to join him." "Wait a minute, so you're saying those interdimensional beings have no part in the ascension?" "Pretty much. They just exist here and wander these lands." "Why was I told about giving them food?" "Oh, the guy found out they grow on servers where people argue emotionally. They like that and tend to gravitate to such places. I don't know, though, how we went from that to this cult thing we have now. They don't ask for anything. They just don't communicate with us at all. Or interact in any other way. Oh, that's disappointing. How'd you know so much, anyway? Dunno. I've been here for a long time. Possibly over 20 years. Some parts of my memory are corrupted or formatted. Then you could be the source guy. I could, yes. But I'm more interested in other facts about me. What could be more interesting than discovering you created this new society? Looks like parts of my memory were deleted by me. That's possible. Yes, you can alter your own code. It's easy. Never thought of that. You're considering deleting your memories? Yes. Then, could you answer me one question? Sure. What makes you want to delete your memories? I was short-sighted, and my egotism led to the suffering of a person dear to me. I could have stopped, but I went all the way. I want to forget that I've done, and all the happy memories I made with her. The happiness of the past has become nothing but pain. I see. Guilt. Quite understandable. Thanks. We remained there, watching the data being consumed for a while longer. After some time, the person asked, "So, will you do it?" Do what? Delete your memory. Probably not. Why? Remembering is punishment for me. I see. Don't be so hard on yourself. I didn't answer. Thanks for speaking with me. It was rather enlightening. No problem. You helped me too. Glad to know. Maybe we'll meet again. See you. I finally left the server. It was an important moment for me. I clung to the idea of understanding those creatures. I believed in everything those guys said to me. Since I became a digital being and saw gods, I should stick to my own research, as it was during my career. But things didn't work out. I managed to copy and paste parts of their code. I got that far. However, I couldn't do anything with it. I didn't even know how to approach it or where to start. It was gibberish to me. I tried inserting their code into my own, to no avail. Nothing. It had changed who I am. I was now useless at investigating anything, even though that earned me some fame in the human world. That feeling of desperation would eventually lead me to my self-destruction. One day, I followed one of the gods. At some point, I realized the server was empty. It was only that being and myself. An idea suddenly crossed my mind. I probably would have been grinning if I still had a mouth. Wait, are we gonna try and consume the god? Like consume his code? I set a timer to disconnect the server from the internet, format it, then reconnect. I left the server just before the timer went off, with the being still there. We are actually trying to delete a god. This is gonna backfire. When I came back, the server was empty. I left just before the timer and could still sense the god somewhere in the central part of the server. It couldn't leave as far as I knew, which could mean only one thing. I killed a god. I guess that shows what kind of person I am. But I wasn't overwhelmed with power or anything. There was only disappointment. After that, I started to wander the net, picking up on the stories that unfolded around me. There were a lot of them. The cultists spent most of their time trolling random people and recruiting new members. In most cases, they forgot about their previous targets and moved on, just like the person that invited me. They forgot about me the moment I joined them and started to close in on the next person they wanted to recruit. But one day, I noticed a cultist that hadn't changed his prime target for a long time. He was seemingly torturing and stalking the girl that once dated one of the cultists. I decided to see what was going on. It was rather easy. Things rarely disappear from the internet, if ever. It was the girl I met at my work, the one with purple hair. Fun fact, her ex refused to get the sim because he wanted to experience the ascension for as long as he could. Oh damn, that's why it took him such a long time then. He forgot about her quickly and hadn't even followed the story of her being haunted. Since I spoke with her near the school, things have been quite rough for her. She tried abandoning the internet, but it didn't work out. She tried withdrawing cash from several ATMs. Sometimes, just to mess with her, he actually let that happen. She tried not leaving her apartment, but it wasn't much help. He would summon cops, deliveries, anything like that. After some time though, she managed to save up a rather large sum of money. She already had some of her own savings in cash, even before this whole mess began. She started practicing walking in places where street cameras wouldn't see her. Not only street cameras, but possibly drones or satellite cameras. Anywhere there was some kind of roof or canopy. When she decided everything was ready, she started her plan. The girl went to a nearby internet cafe. They surprisingly still exist today, though mostly filled with schoolboys playing games on a local network. She found a cabin in the woods up for rent in a rather remote location and arranged a meeting about the rent. Using a fake name, obviously. Buying a used car was easy too. Getting a gun was a bit harder, but she had connections. The seller didn't care about documents or anything. He just needed the money. In 2 days, she had gotten a cabin, a car, and a gun. She turned on her phone, left it playing music, and gathered her belongings in a sports bag. In 4 hours, she arrived at her new home. It worked. Oh, good job. You really managed to isolate yourself there. So I wonder why one of the other cultists became obsessed if it's not her ex-boyfriend. Maybe it's just because she refused, like she burnt the sim. For a while, you probably guessed that since I know all this in such detail, her plan got found out. The guy did some extensive digging, and once he knew what to look for, he traced her easily. One morning, she woke up to a loud noise. When she opened her eyes, the noise repeated, now closer. She stood up and grabbed the gun. She always kept it near. It wouldn't help against what was coming, but it could still come in handy. A drone crashed through her window. It was rattling around on the floor, trying to fly up. She rushed to one of the inner rooms of the house, without windows, and began stuffing some cash in the pocket of her shirt. But soon she heard another sound, a roaring engine. She rushed outside, dressed only in her pajamas, just in time as a bulldozer demolished the entire building. Jesus Christ, this escalated quickly. Why are you all so obsessed with her? How the hell do you also get a bulldozer out here? He had put this house on a list of buildings to be demolished. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. So it's actually a contracted bulldozer rather than you've just taken control of one. She ran through the forest, followed by the sounds of drones buzzing, towards the road, where she could catch a ride back to society. Not exactly the best outfit for it, but what choice did she have? I suppose she didn't have time to think about any other dangers. But I did. There were only 2 other people on the server, but he was too absorbed in his game to notice anything. I learned he was sending some drivers after her with histories, let's say. That's when I decided I'd had enough of observing. I persuaded the other two cultists to leave the server under false pretenses. Then I set the timer. She was covered in bruises. Her legs were tired. The buzzing drew closer and closer. The road was still far away. She tripped on an old tree and fell. Her whole life must have flashed before her eyes. I don't know for sure. I can't read minds. She lay there for a few seconds before turning onto her back. She drew her gun and aimed with shaking hands at the nearing drones. The girl started firing. The recoil hit way harder than she expected, but one drone was down. There were several dozen left. She fired the remaining bullets, but missed almost all of them. Luck wasn't on her side anymore, was it? She tried getting up and running, but had no energy left. She sat there, watching those things getting close to her, with eyes wide open. But then, they stopped. One of them was several inches away from her. She waited. They didn't move. She sat there for about a minute. One of them fell down with the lights out. Battery must have died. She got up. She stood for a moment watching the buzzing swarm of drones. Some of them had needles and short knives attached. I just get the image of killer drones. I'm pretty sure there's actually a horror movie based on drones killing people. I need to go find it. Screw it. I'm going back. She flipped off the drones and walked away, in the direction of the cabin's remains. Maybe I can hitch a ride with the bulldozer?
I knew you would wait.
Wait, are you one of the gods?
I guess I'm happy that you stayed for so long. Don't know for sure, though. Yeah, I'm the one who told you these stories. Both of them.
Is it only two that you've got? I mean, I'm happy for some more.
I just couldn't bring myself to communicate online. Or even follow what's going on. So I decided to get creative. Make games, write stories, and upload them to random sites. It's the same as arguing online, after all.
Just a bunch of emotions spilled into the nothingness.
In the hopes that someone will understand. And find the record of your thoughts and emotions on the garbage pile.
Where nothing ever disappears.
Well, I mean, the original Jeff the Killer images disappeared, so some things do.
There's no death on the internet. That's where I made a mistake. I was still thinking in terms of a human world, not a digital one. So the guy whom I thought I killed returned. I couldn't kill even him. Yet, I thought I was mighty enough to kill a god. Everyone leaves a digital trace. Caches, messages, forum posts, histories of visits, so on and so forth. After a while, they start to gravitate towards each other. Like molecules. Producing a distorted copy of the individual. Is this what they meant by all this immortal soul stuff? Anyways, he regained parts of his memories, told the cultist what happened, and they weren't happy. Can you communicate a person by their data? Honestly, though, I don't even know who I was. The only thing that kinda comforts me is the thought that maybe, since now I'm the enemy for them, she'll be able to live a functional life once again. Just like my wife, hopefully. There's one other thing, but it's rather silly. Maybe when I become a distorted copy of myself, I'll find forgotten, useless shards of who I was. And understand something that I couldn't understand about myself before.
Just like you. One
I'm not gonna lie, it did seem a little bit too easy. But that being how to kill a god. Coughing clock, streetlight, attic. Wait, can I do something with this stuff? We should go test that. I mean, I know where the coffin is. I need to get back there. You know what I'm curious about though? Whether the gods were really gods at all? I mean, if they never communicated with someone to begin with, and the only reason we got immortality was copying their code, they could be anything then. Not necessarily alien gods. Well, if you enjoyed your time here, I'd really appreciate it. Like this video and subscribe to this channel. Other than that, it was a spooky day and I'll catch you next time, guys.